Hi, I'm Megan. I'm a veterinarian assistant.
I'm Dr. Alicia Lima Eid, and I'm a veterinarian.
I'm Heather, and I'm a technician, and you're listening to
The Bark at Beaties. Welcome back to another episode in our podcast, The Bark at Beaties. Thank you for tuning in. It's feeling hot in here, so it must be summertime. And I think a really, really important topic that we all said we have to touch on is summer safety. We're going to break summer safety down into two parts. So this will be the first part, more so looking on ingestions and things that you want to watch for your pet's not eating during the summer. Second part will be on our next episode, and it will focus on heat exhaustion, things to watch for, all other emergencies or things to be mindful of. But today we are going to talk about some things that you got to be careful of when you have pets around, especially it's summertime. All right, we're going to be doing some barbecuing, people coming over, having fun times, and your pets are going to love it. But there are some things that we see on a daily basis in the summertime that are like your classic, looks like we had a barbecue on the weekend. Usually Monday mornings, we come in and there's a bunch of vomiting and diarrhea pets. And one of the first questions, Megan, you ask when you take them in is,
was there any chance that we could have gotten into anything? Any foods, gotten into garbage? Trying to get an idea of what the humans were up to that weekend, but also what the pets may have gotten into.
100%.
Because the humans were, just enjoying the weather and each other.
Yeah, who doesn't love a barbecue?
Oh, it's always delicious.
Yep.
And like there's flavors, there's salads coming over if you're hosting the block party for your neighbors, things like that, or even just getting together with family or just enjoying the better weather for the cooler snacks.
Yes, please.
Remembering what is not great for your pets to get into is going to help save on some costly vet bills.
Yes, definitely. So one of the number one things that we see is, people are having barbecues and they are barbecuing things like shish kebabs, which come with those lovely bamboo skewers. And you don't think anything of it, right? You have your barbecue, you pull the delicious goodies off of the skewer, and then where does that skewer go? It goes in the garbage. And sometimes those skewers can poke through the garbage, or they roll off of the plate, or you have your plate there, you go off to do something else, and your dog helps themselves to also a shish kebab.
Hey, they're down for the party too.
They want to party. But the problem is that skewer can actually puncture. And we've seen that before where either it gets stuck in the throat somewhere, or the dog manages to swallow the whole skewer, and it actually becomes a penetrating foreign body in the stomach. And that can cause some real serious, oftentimes lifelong debilitating complications. It's something that it has to be taken to surgery right away to get that skewer out, because as sharp as it is on your fingers when you're putting it on the barbecue, those skewers will literally pierce through the intestines, the stomachs of pets, and make them very, very sick very fast. So you really want to be careful with shish kebabs, and especially those skewers. So one of the recommendations that I have for things like that is I always make sure to cut them down or break them into very, very small little pieces, and then wrap them in something so that hopefully if your dog does end up getting into the garbage, they have to go through layers before they can even get the sharp wooden pieces. And the sharp wooden pieces, the little broken pieces, are not great, but they are better than one giant stick getting stuck. So make sure you're breaking them apart. Make sure you're putting them in something, inside something, and then putting that in the garbage so that your pets can't have access to it as easily. And watch your plates.
Yeah. Make sure there's plenty of garbage bags around and not where the pets can get to them.
Yes, please be mindful of the garbages. What is one of the other things?
So we have our skewers.
Yep.
If we're just talking about ingestion, being summertime, we're at the beach. We've seen pets ingest sand. And to paint a picture of that, ingestion of sand traveling through the digestive system is equivocal to sandpaper traveling through the digestive system, in which case it's abrasive. It can have very detrimental effects. And we have even, experienced a surgery in which that was the ingestion itself. We were just enjoying a nice day at the beach. We were digging as far as the owner could see, but we didn't know that we were also digging and tasting and digging and tasting. And that was the
swallowing. That was the problem.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And you would think, well, why would a pet eat sand? Well, sometimes, you don't think of it until later. But how many times do we bring like a lunch, right? Hot dogs, for example. And if there's any juice, left over, or any kind of sauce, and some people just, toss it onto the sand and go about their way. Well, the dog is going to smell that. The dog is going to lick that. And when they're licking up the juice, because they're drawn to the smell, they're ingesting all that sand. Very similarly to that, Megan, is gravel. So
Yes,
we have seen it awful. It was a family that was doing renovations, and the team that they had working there, they brought in their own lunch, and they had hot dogs, and the grease from the hot dogs, after they were done, they just dumped it into the gravel nearby. Well, then the dog went by smelling the grease from the hot dogs and actually ate gravel. So think of like a little hacky sack. That's what the stomach was like, except instead of it being a toy, it was a dog's stomach, and that dog got really, really sick. So we had to go into surgery and try and scoop out tons of little gravel. So do not let your pets eat gravel. Do not dispose of any kind of liquids, oils, grease, sauce on the ground. Dump it, somewhere that is appropriate or safe, away from your pets.
Yeah.
Because they don't mean to, but it tastes good. It smells good. So of course they don't know the difference between gravel and something else. They're going to eat it.
Dogs think with their stomachs.
Yeah, they do.
100%.
I remember that surgery and a bag of marbles. That's what it sounded like for anybody from the 80s or 90s. We used to play with those.
Yeah,
for fun.
Yeah. But, so that's a big one. And again, things that you wouldn't think. You're like, oh yeah, I'm just like dumping the grease. Not only do we worry about like things like gravel or sand, but just the grease alone can really, really, really make your pets very, very sick. They are not designed to handle that level of fat and grease. And we have seen pets become incredibly ill from eating grease out of the grease trap from a barbecue once it cools down, or even eating, again, a bunch of hot dogs or things that are greasy and fatty. They end up with something called pancreatitis, which can be a very, very debilitating condition in which the pancreas gets incredibly inflamed. In doing so, it causes a lot of disruption, pain, and damage to the surrounding organs, specifically the digestive tract. And these pets are critical. Sometimes if it's recognized early, they can be treated, they can be hospitalized. But I have seen, unfortunately, the other end of that, where there's just been so much damage from that these pets, unfortunately, some don't make it, or they become very sick. So please do not feed your pets greasy, fatty foods, because even if they're, fine or they're enjoying it, it can have some significant health effects for them.
And correct me if I'm wrong on this, but once they've had pancreatitis once, they're more prone to get it again.
You
right?
got it, buddy.
And even then, it's not like they're going to, every time they get hot dog water, it's after they've had it the first time. It can be just a little bit of a deviation from their diet, a little bit extra fat that triggers it the second and the third time around.
Absolutely. Yeah. Heather is totally, totally right on that. I always think of it, once that pancreas has been primed and it's experienced that level of damage and inflammation, they're always going to be prone to it. And even just little bits. And they can also develop other things too from pancreatitis, like diabetes, which you think, well, what's the connection there? Well, your pancreas is responsible for producing insulin in a lot of cases. And so if that pancreas has been so inflamed and it's been damaged from that pancreatitis episode, you can actually damage and destroy the areas of the pancreas that produce insulin. And so now this pet is no longer able to produce insulin because it's had pancreatitis and is now diabetic. We see that quite a bit. So there's a lot of reasons why we really want to be conscientious about what they're eating, what they're getting into.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. I was just going to say another thing that, like at the barbecue or if you're at the beach and having a beach fire, it's sweet corn season or just about to be. So with that comes corn on the cob, which fantastic. It's a great time. On that note, the corn growing in the fields, not always going to be sweet corn, guys. Don't steal it. Pick it up from a roadside stand. Mm-hmm. Cow corn does not taste good. Mm-hmm. Been there, tried it. My parents thought it was hilarious. But corn cobs, once you're done eating it, that husk, you're just going to throw it in the garbage. Problem is, dogs, again, thinking with their stomachs, they're like, ooh, good snack. I'm going to pick that up. Mm-hmm. And the problem is, if they eat that corn cob, it can actually swell up in their stomach when it's getting rehydrated. And that causes blockage.
Yeah, we see it, and it's kind of interesting because it's very consistent appearance on an X-ray. And as soon as there's that history of we had a barbecue, and did you have any corn on the cob by chance? Yes, you see it in the X-ray, and that's something your veterinarian may actually, request as one of the testing. If you bring your pet in and you're worried about that, they may ask you to, we need to do an X-ray because we have to know for sure. Like you said, has it swelled in the stomach? Is it causing a physical obstruction? But corn on the cob is something that we always associate with summer.
Yep. Or even a case we've seen recently, which was, I would say, an ingestion fail, and has to do with summer activities, is fish hooks into pets.
Yes. Good one.
We come home from fishing. We don't clean our lures. When we might have gotten a catch and release, and it has that smell of fish on it, and that is that might as well be a all-you-can-eat buffet for a cat.
It's incredibly luring.
Okay, Dr. Ben.
Yep. Yeah, so we saw a case in which a kitten had come in, but I mean, every summer period, I've seen a puppy have a fishing lure embedded in its jowl there. So and comes with and
you can't just pull them out either, right? Like that's the thing. I think people think, oh, you can just pull them out like you would on a fish. You can't, because they have the prongs on them. So once they puncture through, if you try to pull it back, they have prongs preventing you. So oftentimes those pets are frantically trying to get rid of it. They're making it worse. It's tearing, and they have to come in, and we have to oftentimes sedate them, give them really good pain medication, and cut that lure out. So, you see some of these lures. I mean, I get it. They are appealing. They would lure me in. And their little fish. Of course, a kitten's going to see that and it's going to be like, that must be for me. All the toys that they make for cats are little fish and mice and things. So of course, it's going to be natural for them to. That was a good one.
Yeah,
Megan,
it's checking all the boxes. It smells like fish. There's a fish on it.
Looks like fish,
except for that pointy part. It would have been a fish toy.
It's a fun shape to throw around.
Yeah, the paw, or not on their lip, but in their paw too. I've seen that where it gets stuck. Yeah. It's actually a great toy aside from the spikes.
From the barbs.
So, that part makes it not great.
But also fishermen, you guys already know this. If you're taking your dog fishing with you, you're mindful of where they are in relation to your lures as well, because they can get hooked there too.
Yep. Another thing, just kind of going back to the barbecue side, is rib bones, steak bones.
Yep, been there.
Bones.
Oh man, it is so appealing for them. Chicken bones too, like chicken wings, all the bones, all of the bones. That are, huge hazards for pets because, of course, they're going to want to eat it, especially those cooked bones.
Yeah.
If they've been cooked, they are more easily broken apart. So they are friable, they shatter or they splinter. So the dogs are going to chew them and they've lost their integrity. So they're going to break down. And again, bones broken create shards. And if they ingest those shards, that literally is taking a razor blade and slicing their intestines. I remember a few years ago, myself and one of the other technicians, Kelly, we were in a case where the dog was literally having bloody diarrhea, and so we had to examine the hind end. And what I was pulling out, from the hind end with gloves was literally just shards of bone mixed with grit and diarrhea and blood. And I felt so bad for this dog. Things were moving through, but at what cost? I remember, and Kelly took one look at me and she said, how do I always end up in situations like this with you? And that's vet med. Well, Kelly, you signed on for it. Yeah. So, and that poor dog, like if you think about that was coming out the other end. So from ingestion to tail, those bone shards had been scraping and slicing and cutting. That dog was very, very sick. So please be mindful of your bones, especially those cooked bones, because they're going to smell great, but can pose significant problems.
And not always at the barbecue either. I've been on walks with my lab, and after garbage day, there's been some ribs left over from the garbage. The wildlife have gotten into it. The ribs have. I don't even know how this has happened, but it's happened twice on walks where I've had to reach down his throat and grab out a full rib. And you have to wonder, is someone just walking down the street eating ribs and just
tossing them?
But it was definitely remnants from garbage day, and it, oh only my quick reflexes is the only reason he, didn't have to come in for more diagnostics.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's incredible how fast they can just snatch something up and what was that?
And typically when you call their name, they start to eat it
faster.
So, they know they're not supposed
they're not
to,
supposed
but
to.
like it's delicious.
Oh yeah, they know what they've done. So yes, please, that's a great call, Megan. Even just this time of year, walking your pet after garbage day, don't just let them willy-nilly go smelling around properties, because you never know. And one of the other things that people partake in summer holidays is marijuana usage, and we do see marijuana toxicity. It is something that, you know what, there is no judgment, no shame around it. If you suspect that your pet has ingested marijuana in whatever form, whether it's edibles or any other kind, just tell us, because there's no judgment. It's all about, let's find out what your pet could have gotten into so we can act as quickly as we can before any of those signs take place, and then we have secondary changes, because that's something. And it's even if it's not you and you're thinking, well, that's not something that our family necessarily participates in, but again, just like Megan said, think about if you've been on a walk recently, your neighbors. Do you live by a park? Do you live by a catwalk where you have people walking up and down? All of these places that it doesn't always have to be in your property. You got to be mindful of surroundings.
Yeah, and we're just asking questions to kind of narrow down the diagnostics itself, not placing any kind of judgment. We want to just get to the root cause of what's going on and treat. And and we're not cops.
We're not cops.
We're not cops.
I mean, if this is the heat, I'm Sandra Bullock always. And Megan is definitely Melissa McCarthy. And Heather is the supervisor that keeps us back on track.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
The captain.
See that.
The captain, yes. And so things I think to watch for if you are suspicious that, you've had a party or you've had a get together or you've gone out for a walk and suddenly your pet is not acting right, things you want to watch for that would lead you to make an appointment with us is if you notice that your pet is vomiting. And I mean consistent vomiting. They drink water, they're vomiting. They're dry heaving multiple times. Maybe they're bringing stuff up, maybe they're not. Any kind of straining to have a bowel movement, that's a big one too. Or the other end of the spectrum, if they are just constantly having bowel movements, whether it's bloody or watery or discolored, if your pet is in any way doing like a hunched position, we tend to see that too when we're bringing them in. They're hunched. That's a sign of pain in their abdomen, and that's what they do. They kind of hunch. They're oftentimes very stiff. A lot of them will just go and lay down because they're feeling pain. They're feeling unwell, or they're feeling nauseous, just like you or I. When we're feeling nauseous, what do? We curl up in a ball and we lay on the couch, and we
don't want to do anything.
We don't want to do anything. Your pets are the same. So if you notice any of those activities, suspicion, or you're like, the garbage is broken into, that's a time to come and see us.
Absolutely. Another big thing, and I think we've seen it here before, is if we have teenagers in the house and we have, for some reason, left them unattended for a prolonged period of time, there's a chance a party happened.
Yep.
Or
just the state of the rooms.
In which
just the state of the rooms. Yeah.
Right. Yep. And so we've even seen pets come in. Mom and dad have brought them in. Mom and dad have been gone for the weekend. They don't know. As far as their teenager angel baby is concerned, nothing happened while they were gone.
Not Johnny.
We bring the dog in. We ask the questions. No, there's no possible way he could have gotten into that. 1 second, let me call my son.
Yeah.
You did what?
Yeah.
Okay, now at least we have. You can deal with that, on the side, but now at least we have narrowed down and we have some treatment options for you.
Yeah, 100%. That transparency, when it's, related to your pet's health, it's just transparency, right? And that just helps us make our jobs much more efficient, and we can narrow down to treatment and what we need to do to get that pet feeling better.
Because we'll definitely ask what seems like weird questions, but we promise in context it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because like teenagers, messy bedrooms even.
Oh man,
they were watching.
Don't even get me started.
Moldy pizza crusts.
Moldy pizza
crust.
Okay.
We've had a puppy sick with that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, there we go. Kid is cleaning their room right now while we're here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yep, they're gonna keep it that way if they want to go anywhere.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. Yeah. Moldy bread is not great. But yes, having a pizza party in the room and a slice falls down the side of the bed, and I'm not seeing that again.
Yep.
But the lab will find it.
The lab will find it.
He'll either find it now and get pancreatitis, or he'll find it later and get pancreatitis
With mold. Yeah.
Exactly. And there goes your allowance for the next 5 years.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that we all look forward to in the summertime, but there's a lot of things just to be mindful of. Watch what your dog is getting into. Watch them when they're going on walks. Be mindful of how you're disposing all of those post-barbecue leftovers or bones or skewers. And if you notice anything that you're concerned about, or you're worried, or your pet's just not acting right, it is best to take them into the clinic, because a lot of times, for bones or for skewers, these kinds of things, the faster that we can treat and intervene, the better the outcome for the pets. So, you can't blame them. They're following their nose, but we know better because we're the owners. So, as always, thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section, or send us a message if you have something on your mind that is a burning question you want us to answer. Until next time, thank you for tuning in to the Bark at Beaties. Bye.